Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Yahweh is the true name of Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Heavenly Father's Son, the Son of Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders, a great millstone, who I learned this truth from, and peace and blessings goes to the hopeful members of the elect, my brothers that are out in the highways, pushing his word and his truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Isaiah from GMS Los Angeles, and in today's lesson, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha Kodash. And in today's lesson, I'd like to go into, don't get yourself in a financial burden, because it's already hard as it already is. For us sincere believers of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that are in this world to get our daily bread, maintaining to survive, to get by. We're not like the others that are constantly chasing the bag. They're constantly in the rat race, trying to make it in this world, and even got Jake that want to look like they made it, but really they're suffering financially. We don't want to put ourselves in a financial burden, and that's what I want to get into in today's lesson. Financial burden, because it's already hard as it is. Why make it harder for ourselves by putting us in a financial burden when really we don't have to? That's something I've been thinking about. The Spirit gave me today, because I know there's Jake out there that are about to put themselves in a financial burden, or already in a financial burden. Okay, and I myself, I've been there, done that, and and I'm still in the process. Being financially burdened, because we're all financially burdened because of this world. We have to pay for everything, rent and all that, but we got to make sure that we're able to, we could able to afford it, and be able to, take care of what we got to take care of, because hey, we're all burdened financially anyway. Let's get this in Baruch chapter 3 verse 8. Verse 8 says, Baruch chapter 3 verse 8 says, "Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the Lord our God." Right, man. So we're all subject to payments. We're all dealing with some financial burdens. We all got to pay something, pay rent, but there's Jake out there that put themselves in a financial burden when they really don't have to. All right, let's use an example of a car. Instead of buying a car off someone from the street, Facebook Market, Jake want to go to a car dealership, get something new, something nice, but get stuck paying high monthly payments and insurance, which a lot of Jake don't think about. All right, but they got a car, they got a nice car though, they got a nice whip, but all your money is going into that. You're just putting yourself in a financial burden. One thing that I like to one thing I always like to I always say to myself, which our Lord, I have this here, Luke chapter 14, of counting the cost. All right, now Yahweh Shai referred counting the cost. If when you come to the truth, you gotta count the cost. If you're willing to endure it, you got what it takes. You're willing to endure, and you understand that you're gonna go through hell. You're gonna catch hell. You're gonna suffer. Or you gotta count the cost, so that Satan's gonna mess with you. You may lose things. But I like to use this as counting the cost. If I'm able to get this or that, if I'm able to afford this car, if I'm able to afford this place I want to live, you gotta count the costs. You gotta go through how much money you make and do all that good stuff, man. If you're not good on that, doing it by yourself, get with someone that does, like a brother. We're a body for a reason. But don't put yourself in a financial burden. Don't make it harder than it already is, because it's hard out here. It's hard just living on your own. Paying rent. Don't add on to it by putting yourself into a situation where you got to pay rent and pay a goddamn note, unless you could afford it. If you can afford it, that's cool. If it's in your budget, if it's in your means, that's cool. But you got a lot of Jake that get shit it's not really in their budget. Okay? Now, here I have on Google, right? I typed in financial burden. A financial burden is any financial obligation or cost that causes difficulty or worry, potentially leading to stress or hardship for individuals or businesses. It can be caused by various factors, including high debt, insufficient income, unexpected expenses, or the inability to meet financial obligations. In everyday life, a financial burden can be anything from struggling to make ends meet to facing the cost of unexpected medical bills or repairs, and it can manifest as debt, difficulty affording necessities, or a constant worry about money. Financial stress can have a significant impact on mental and physical health, relationships, and overall being. All right. Now, like I said, we're all in a financial burden. All right. We all got. It's hard. It's hard to live out here, man. But like, I'm gonna keep saying this. I know. I keep repeating myself, but don't make it harder for yourself than it already is. All right. Because how can you put yourself in a more financial burden? All right, by paying a car note when you really don't have to. I understand Jake needs a car, or you want a car, but it's better to, like I said, buy it off the street than to go to a car dealership, man. You got to count the cost if you're really going to be able to afford that car you're buying. Whatever car it is, because nowadays it doesn't just have to be a Mercedes or a goddamn BMW or damn Porsche for it to be expensive. You could buy a Honda Civic, a Honda Accord, and new ones. A Honda Civic, a Honda Accord, or a a basic car, and pay high monthly notes for it, man. Because we're in inflation. Shit's getting high. It's not that easy, man. It's better off buying a car from the street. And yeah, it may have problems, but you save more money fixing those problems than getting money to buy a car off the lot, man. Because you got to consider a lot of things. First you got to consider how much you're gonna put down, and then first you got to consider if you have good credit or not. You shouldn't really try to buy a car off the lot if you have bad credit. All right, because they're just gonna charge you high interest. And you're not gonna be paying the car off. You're gonna be paying mostly. You're gonna pay the interest. You're gonna be paying the interest, all right? And then you gotta consider the if you have whatever your credit is, the more you put down, all right, and the more your monthly payment is. You gotta consider the terms, the term you want to pay. You want to pay it off faster, you're gonna pay more. If you want to pay it off slower, you're gonna pay less. If you have bad credit, it's not gonna make a difference. And then you gotta consider insurance. If you're gonna get a car off the dealership, you can't get no liability. Okay, you have to get full coverage. They're not gonna let you leave the car if you don't have full coverage. And insurance within itself is expensive. And here in California, they just got it gone up for everyone. Insurance is much more expensive, man. All right, so you want to go get a nice car off the lot, off the dealership. All right, you want to pay all this, want to pay the monthly note, and then and you want to pay the insurance, and that's something you got to consider. You got to count the costs. You got to think about these things. You can't all Jake be like, I could afford the car payment, but you're not thinking about the insurance until the last moment. You don't want all your money going into a car, especially if you have other things to pay for. You're just you're making your life harder. You're making your burden financially harder for yourself, man. we gotta make better decisions in these last times, man. You want to be in a situation where you're asking for help every month, and it's really not because something unexpected happened, because that's happened. Like it says, in everyday life, a financial burden can be anything from struggling to make ends meet to facing the cost of unexpected medical bills or repairs, or anything unexpected. Your job could cut your hours. The hours you used to make that give you your money, that be able to pay your car note, your rent, all that. Unexpected, your hours got short, or you lost your job, or some shit happens. You don't want to not only have to worry about not paying rent, you don't want to have to worry about not paying your car note, or your insurance, because you pay your car note, right? You may be able to pay your car note, and let's say you don't pay your insurance, right? You stop paying it. The DMV is gonna send you a letter, right? Number one, they're gonna send you a letter. They're gonna give you a couple months to get insurance, unless or they suspend your registration. All right, and then your car company, I don't know. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on it if they can take your car, but they're gonna ask. They're gonna ask if you have insurance or not. If they find out you don't, they're gonna tell you to get it. Or they may or may not. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Okay, because they don't want you to get into an accident and you lose a car and you not be able to pay it. So I'm pretty sure they'll probably take it away. But the point is, don't put yourself in a financial burden. It's better, like I said, to get a car off the lot. Now I have this video I want to play real quick. All right, this is Jake. Well, not Jake, but he could be a Jake. I don't know. But there's a guy I like to follow on TikTok. He has a lot of videos of just people calling him about trading cars, and you just see how how stupid people are, or like how people that don't really think, or just how they just get themselves in bad debt, and they want to get out of it. Because think about it, man, when you get yourself in a contract with getting a car, it's not easy to get rid of, man. You're gonna have to pay that car, man. You're gonna have to pay that car off. So listen to this, and it's crazy because just notice it's part 144. That's the spirit. All praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So let's play this.
Paycheck to paycheck, and you are
the Audi RS Q8 is a better.
You are living paycheck to paycheck, and you are having a tough financial time, and your credit score is under a 600. I strongly recommend rethinking buying a car, because you're going to be stuck like the plethora of people that you see on my customer calls. I get customer like this all the time. 2021 Kia owes about $23,000. Payments $570. Insurance is $250. She's paying over $600, almost $700 a month.
She's paying a lot for the monthly payment alone for a car, but the insurance is at least not that bad.
Credit scores of 577. She tried to trade in the car for another one. They said no, that they are basing your credibility on paying a loan back, and you have a sub 600, and you went to another dealership and they denied you, and I'm telling you that you need to have cash down to put skin in the game. And a lot of people say, well, you waste people's time because you can't get the deal done. I tell people all the time, I'm not a magician. It's just, it is what it is. It's customer after customer.
2018 Jeep Compass in a 2025, keep in mind, right?
Here I have it.
Let you get out of my car payment. I owe about $17,000 and pay $470 a month.
2018 Jeep Compass, want to get out of it. My car payment, I owe $17,000. Just FYI, guys, that's like a $6,000-$7,000 car. Another person, 2017 Kia Sorento, 123,000 miles, got it 3 years ago. Fell into some financial trouble, which everybody does. Her payments are $521, so almost $600 with insurance. Income is about $3,400. Interest rate is 29%. credit score 5.
29%. That's something you gotta consider when buying a car. Is the interest rate. All right, this is something I like to do. Right, is 29% interest rate a lot for buying a car? Yes, 29% interest rate is extremely high for buying a car. It's well above average, even for people with poor credit. Here's some context. Excellent credit, 750. Between 5 to 7% interest. Fair credit, 669. 10 to 15 interest. Poor credit, below 600, up to 20 to 24% max. So this is why it's important. Like, if you're gonna go that route buying a car, get your credit up first. Because you're going to have to deal with interest, man. You know, if you finance a $10,000 car for 60 months at 29%, you'll end up paying around $18,000 total, almost double the car price. So you'd be paying way more than what the car is actually worth. Okay? This is why the guy advised to, you know, he didn't even advise you to buy a car. He advised you to buy it off the street. And he's going to show you, right?
75. There's nothing I can do. There are so many cash cars you could buy. I just went on Facebook and let me show you. The cash cars underneath 5,000.
No, this guy had 2015 Kia Forte, 4,600. That's cheap. I mean, you know, Georgia. You know, it also depends where you're at. You know.
In 2015 Kia Forte.
I'm basing everything off Cali.
2011 Jeep Sport, 2012 Volt, 2000.
Yeah, and people may say, "Well, these cars are gonna have problems." Well, like I said, like it's better to buy a car off the street and fix them problems. It's a lot cheaper than getting yourself into a car payment. You know, and then, hey, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, which you pray to the Lord, he's gonna provide you the right car, man. A car that may have no problems, a car that has little to no problems, man. You know, because it's all about just, you know, getting into a car that gets you from A to B. You know, Jake just wants to look nice, or Jake just want to get bitches. You shouldn't get a damn car just to get bitches, man. That's not the purpose of a car, man. You should not get a car to get bitches. You know, especially if you can't even afford that car, but you get it anyway because you want to impress the bitches. Nah, man, that's not where it's at, man. You know, you get a car to get you to where you gotta go. You get a car to also even help brothers. You give brothers rides, pick brothers up. You know, you may be in the same city and camps maybe distance away. You pick up. You may offer up yourself to, you know, give, you know, you offer up, you know, not offer, you know, like you sacrifice, but I mean, like, you know, what's that word? You know, that word slippeth, but you know, you say, hey, bros, hey, we can go in my car this week. You know, not to get bitches, man. Especially if you can't afford it. That's why it's best just to get a car off the street.
2006 Honda Odyssey. All these are cash cars that you could buy, really thug it out, hustle hard, get your credit up, get your money up, and go buy a nice car in a couple years. If you have a couple grand down, go buy a cash car, thug it out, hustle, make that money, and...
I mean, if you're under 600 credit score, don't finance a car. Best advice.
Very soon you'll be able to buy a nice car. And don't get me wrong, if I have a customer in front of me and I've already laid out what the payment plan is going to be, how much interest rate is going to be, and they're insisting on buy the car, I'm going to sell the car. I'm here to make money. But I will advise you that it might not be a smart decision. I'm a car dealer, not a financial advisor. So, guys, really think about the contracts you get into, understand the situations you put yourself in.
Right. Think about the contract, count the costs, all right? Understand the situation you put yourself in. And you got bros that don't do that, man. They don't understand the situation you put yourself in, because even though you may afford it now, yeah, you're able to just afford it and get it out the lot. But are you able to continue to pay off the monthly payment? Or are you able to, you know, continue to pay it off, man? And you don't want to be out here struggling, man. Especially if you got rent. If you got to pay rent too, man, you shouldn't be paying no car note. That's over $600, $500, man. You know, it's better just to get a. It's just better to get an old car and just focus on paying rent, because rent's a lot. You know, over here in Cali, it is. You know, it's ridiculous how it's like I'm looking for a new place right now too. I've been seeing 600 square feet for $2K for 1 bedroom. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. And finding a 2-bedroom is twice as that, man. But the point is, don't put yourself in a financial burden.
Like
All
this
right?
all the. If you are living
to paycheck to paycheck. If you don't have a stable job, you know, even when you get a car off the dealership, they ask you about your job. They ask you how long you've been working there. They want to see few pay stubs to see if you could pay the car, to see if you could afford the car, man. They don't just give you a car. They double check, man. So it's wise to get yourself together first, you know, to get your credit up, you know, to save up some money, you know. Then to first just go out and buy a car off the lot, man. It's not wise. You're putting yourself in financial burden. Like I've been saying, it's already hard as it is already. You know, if you don't have good credit, most likely these banks are not gonna want to give you a loan. That's gonna force you to get a cosigner, and you don't want to have a cosigner, man, because you're gonna affect that person's credit, man. You don't want to do that. If you can't get it on your own credit, it's best not to get it at all. It's best to take what this man's advice saying. Just buy it off the street, man. Buy a car, you know, work on your credit, work on your financial stability, and if it's in your means that you're in a better situation where you know you could pay off, you get another car, a better car, you able to pay that off, hey, might as well do it, man. Because I've been in that situation, man, where I've been in a financial burden, paying monthly payment, and that's due to my unwiseness and my, you know, lack of knowledge of, you know, buying cars and all that. But I got myself in the situation. But thank the Lord I got myself out. And this is just why, you know, I'm making this lesson to warn you, bros. You know, don't put yourself in a financial stability. Think about everything that you do, man. Don't make it harder for yourself. Just because you may afford it now, you got to see if you can afford it all the time. All right? So there's not much more to be said. The point was made. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Shalom.